I was active duty for 4 years back in the 90s. I deployed with the Special Forces group. In 2012, I was in Kuwait. I always loved working out, and I got to the point I was picking up like 600 pounds at the bench press. I realized, oh my God, I'm killing myself trying to prove how much of a man I am. To who? No one cares.
Hello everybody, I am RedPill Shark, and obviously I am not the man you were expecting. The owner of this channel is having some health difficulties and asked for me to fill in for just a minute, so here I am, lending a helping hand. Now hopefully, as you can tell from that intro clip, we're talking about the recent transgender ban in the military tweeted out by Donald Trump just last week. Now, this is what that tweet looked like. Basically, he says he spoke with his generals and decided the military could not be burdened with the transgender individuals' requirements, especially their medical expenses. Now, although I agree with his decision, I'm not sure he kind of laid out the correct reason for reaching that decision. Now, just in case you didn't know, veterans and transgender individuals have one huge common characteristic, and that is their proclivity to suicide. As you can see here by this Veteran Affairs study, veterans are over twice as likely as your average individual to commit suicide after a deployment. Now take a look at how this statistic compares to the transgender community, where nearly 40% of transgenders attempt suicide sometime in their life. That is the law of compounding, my friends. Let's look at this particular propaganda poster here. It's saying 31% of trans people commit suicide, 50% attempt suicide, and then at the very bottom it says, trans people are killed by bullies too. It's not just gay people. Now, what organization do you know makes bullying almost an art? Well, take a look at this.
Aye, sir! You're done! Aye, sir! Right here, sir! Get back! Aye, sir! Get away! Sir! Open your doors!
I see absolutely no bullying in that video, or conflicting ideologies, but that is a bit of a low blow. Let's talk about someone who served in the military and turned out to be transgender, and by all accounts, had a great career. This is Kristen Beck. She was a he who was a Navy SEAL, and served by all accounts with honor, distinction, did her part. But the difference here is that she made the transition after leaving the military, which I think is absolutely the responsible thing to do, and I have no problem with that. The problem I have with this particular character is that Kristen Beck is now an outspoken advocate for transgenders serving in the military. As you can see here, basically calling out Trump, saying, "Tell me I'm not worthy to my face." Well, you were worthy. You did your part. You completed what is probably the most difficult training known to man, at least in the United States military, but now you're on a different path. You're a civilian, do you do you. And this brings us back to President Trump's tweet, specifically where he called out medical costs as a reason to not allow transgenders to serve. And that resulted in dumb things like this happening. And that being, article after article can now be found on the internet calling out Viagra as a bigger medical expense for the Pentagon than transgender medical care ever would, which is factually true, but really has nothing to do with the price of rice in China and is nothing but a distraction. Instead, what he should have called out is this thing called unit cohesion, which is basically the bonding together of soldiers in such a way that they are able to commit to each other, the unit, the mission, and accomplish it regardless of combat stress or mission difficulty, really. And now I think would be the appropriate time to point out that I served in the military for approximately 5 years and deployed several times to what we'll call combat zones, I suppose. And this is what you need to keep your eye on. Those are what we will call combat stressors, and you're kidding yourself if you think men and women dealing with that on a semi-daily basis, living in tight quarters day after day for upwards of a year, that's not going to have a serious effect on their relationship with each other. Obviously, it has a huge effect on the way they act with each other, and quite frankly, that's just stress, 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 and I've seen soldiers get into fistfights over some of the piddliest little crap, such as their favorite band, when this is something you deal with every day. I can only imagine what having a whole another layer of separation would do with a transgender soldier in the unit. But of course, Twitter didn't agree with me. In fact, this hashtag was trending last week. Hashtag trans rights are human rights. Sure, I agree with that, but the thing is, no one has the right to serve in our armed forces. It's a privilege. People are unable to serve due to color blindness at times, or flat feet, let alone this other thing you're dealing with. The military is definitely not the place for a social experiment. You can't sacrifice combat readiness and your nation's ability to win wars for basically social points. Talk about how a unit might have animosity grow even in a garrison environment. Simply, when it comes time to promote soldiers, especially at the junior enlisted levels, a big part of that has to do with their ability to perform well in PT, or what most people know as physical training. Take a look at this chart, specifically the push-ups. A male, to pass his physical fitness test, needs to do 42 push-ups. A female, 19. But let's say you transgendered, or you went through a transformation rather. Now your score may be 19, and now when you do 42 push-ups on the female scale, you have maxed out your possible points, and thus are more likely to get promoted over your counterpart. In the grand scheme of things, I'm sure this would be a very easy challenge to overcome, but the point is, this is one example of many examples the military needs to find a way to address. But let's move back to something more practical. Specifically, let's listen to Chelsea Manning for a second. You know, the one who gave up classified documents and spent some time in jail.
Why was it so important to you to fight for hormone treatments while you were behind bars?
It's literally what keeps me alive. It keeps me from feeling like I'm in the wrong body. You know, like I get these horrible feelings. I used to get these horrible feelings, like I just want to rip my body apart.
So as you heard from her, you don't have your hormone treatments, you feel funny, you feel off, and in her words, she wants to rip her body apart. What does that have to do with the mission necessarily? Well, now your commander, your supply train has to worry about beans, bullets, water, and hormone treatments? It's simply, yeah, probably not compatible. Anyways guys, big shout out to Helping Hand for giving me this opportunity. I hope he feels better soon. And if you enjoyed this, maybe come stop by my channel and see if I have anything else you like. Until next time guys, peace!
Thanks for watching guys. If you like what you saw here, have a look at my other videos and leave me your thoughts in the comments. If you support my message, then please like, favorite, and subscribe. If you'd like to help this channel improve, you can reach out to me on Twitter or on Facebook with any suggestions. And if you'd like to support me more directly, please consider following me on Patreon, links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll catch you all in my next video.